Hello and welcome to the M-Star training session for entering the new media for library. In this screen, you will be able to enter details of new books or textbooks or any other media that has come in your library. So let us see the steps to proceed further. Click on the M-Star button and select Module Library. The name of the module appears on the main screen, which means that you're now working in the library module. After this, click on the button Activities and select Screen New Purchase. As the screen name refers, it means it's a new purchase. That means for any procurement or purchase of any media in the library can be entered in this screen. As you select the screen, the first thing it asks is to select the library. For example, in some schools, if there are two libraries like Central Library or Junior Library or Senior Library or Junior Library, then we first need to enter the library virtually. In some schools where there is only single library, then only one library name will appear. So, select the name of the library in which you want to enter the new purchase details. After you have selected the library name, click on the button Go. And now, if you can see, the location on the main screen shows Junior Library and the name of the Junior Library also appears on the main screen main bar. Always remember to check the name of the library appearing on the main screen because the two libraries work separately and in parallel. Now, let us first select the media category. For this, click on the box next to the media category and you will see the list of various media categories available. Click on the media category Books to enter the details of the book. After this, enter the school accession number in the box next to the school accession number. In this field, you can enter maximum 15 characters and both text and number can be entered. This is a mandatory field to save the screen details. Next, click on the box next to the text media language and you will see list of some languages. Select the language name of the new media that you're going to enter. This is the language of the book. In the next field, Title, enter the title of the book. In this, you can enter maximum 150 characters and both number and text can be entered. If you may have noticed, once we start entering the title, it gives us a small list of the titles which already may have been entered. If you're entering a first title of the book in the library, then these lists will not come. These are the list of the books that have already been entered for you to select. In case you want to select an existing book, so once this list appears, using the down arrow button on the keyboard, you can select the book in the list and press enter. Once you press the enter, the title of the book as appearing in the list comes in the title field. A new title can also be entered and which will also get saved in that list. So you can enter both text and numbers in this field and it is also a mandatory field to save the details. All special characters are allowed in this field. In the next field, Author's Name, enter the name of the author. Again, as you enter any character in this field, the author names as already entered for various other books appears in the list in the field. Follow the same process by pressing the down arrow key on the keyboard and select the correct author's name. A new author name can also be entered and that will get added in the list. You can enter maximum 75 characters in this field. Both text and numbers can be entered. This is also a mandatory field to save the details in the screen. All the special characters are allowed. In the next field, enter the publisher's name and as you enter a character, it will again show the name of all the publishers entered till date. If no publisher has been entered till date, then this list will not appear. So using the down arrow key of the keyboard and press enter to select a publisher name. In case you want to write a new publisher name, the same can be added and it will get added to the list available. Maximum 100 characters can be entered in this field and both text and numbers can be entered. Special characters are allowed and it is a mandatory field to save the details in the screen. As you also select the publisher's name, the publisher's address as entered earlier gets auto-filled as per the publisher's name selected. Otherwise, you can enter new publisher's address as well, and for that, maximum 100 characters are allowed in this field and both text and numbers can be entered. This is an optional field and not essentially required to save the details in the screen. Again, all special characters are allowed in the screen. In the next field, website address, enter the website address of the publisher. You can enter maximum 50 characters in this field and both text and numbers can be entered. This is also an optional field for saving the details. In the next field, email address, enter the email address of the publisher. Maximum 40 characters are allowed in this field and both text and numbers are allowed. You can also enter special characters, but special characters like dash, comma, dot or front slash are only applicable. This is also an optional field to save the details. In the next field, language, since this is the writing or the typing language, so by default it is showing us as English. In the next field, media name, which is also a mandatory field, you can enter maximum 100 characters and both text and numbers can be entered. In this, you will enter the category of the media, for example fiction or suspense or any other media name can be entered. Again, if you enter a character, it will search for the media names entered earlier. Using the down arrow key, you can select and press enter on the keyboard to select a media name. If you want to enter a new media name, then the same can be entered and it will get added to the existing list. In this field also, you can enter all the special characters. This is a mandatory field. Now next, the date of receiving, that is the date of purchase of the book that you are making the entry for. By default, it will show the current date and the same can be updated as required. The date format has to be entered as date, month and year. This is a mandatory requirement for saving the details in the screen. In the next field, call number, enter the call number and you can enter maximum 30 characters in this field and both text and number can be entered. Special characters are also allowed, though this is an optional field. In the next field, ISBN, you can also enter the ISBN number of the book. Maximum 25 characters are allowed in this field and it is an optional field for saving the details. Special characters are also allowed and both text and numbers can be entered. In the next field, number of copies, we can enter the number of copies that we want to save for the current book that we have entered. By default, it shows 1. If we want to only create one copy of this particular book, then we need not change the number. Whereas, if we want to enter multiple copies at the same time, we can enter 2 or 3. Maximum 4 characters can be entered and only numbers can be entered. It is a mandatory field to save the details. Based on the number of copies, once we click on the save button after entering all the relevant details in the screen, the application will create 2 books with the same name and the school accession number will be also generated automatically in sequence. For example, if we have entered 2 copies for this book with the school accession number of 87999, then it will generate 2 books of the same details, but the school accession number of the next book will be next to 87999. So if you have got 2 or 3 or multiple copies of the same book at the same time, you can use this feature and need not re-enter all the details. In the next field, edition, enter the edition of the book. Maximum 20 characters can be entered in this field and both text and numbers are allowed. This is an optional field for saving the details, and special characters are also allowed in this field. In the next field, volume, enter the volume of the book. Maximum 20 characters are allowed in this field and both text and numbers can be entered. This is also an optional field for saving the details, and special characters are also allowed. In the next field, year of publication, enter the year of publication for the book. In this, only 4 characters of the year can be entered. This is also an optional field for saving the details. Now, enter the search keywords for the book. In this, you can enter the keywords of the book for enabling its search. This is a mandatory field and maximum 250 characters can be entered, and both text and numbers can be entered along with all the special characters. This is a mandatory field for saving the screen. Next, enter the number of pages for the book. Maximum 20 characters can be entered. Both text and numbers are allowed, and this is an optional field. Special characters can also be entered if required. In the next field, secret page, enter the secret page of the book. Maximum 7 characters are allowed. Only numbers can be entered, and this is an optional field. Next, enter the physical location of the book. You can enter maximum 30 characters in this field and both text and numbers can be entered. This is also an optional field for saving the details. Special characters can also be entered. In the next field, enter the source for the book. This also can be selected from the list as saved with the existing media, and a new field can also be entered. Maximum 100 characters can be entered and both text and numbers are allowed. This is an optional field for saving the details, and all the special characters are also allowed in this field. In the next field, remarks, enter any remarks. You can enter any remarks as applicable for the book. This is an optional field and can be and may not be entered. You can enter maximum 100 characters in the remarks field and both text and numbers are allowed. This is an optional field as just mentioned, and all the special characters can be entered. Now next field, you can enter the printed cost and the actual cost of the book. For entering the printed cost, in the first box, enter the currency, for example rupees, RS, and then enter the cost of the book which is printed on the book. In the first field, only text can be entered, and in the second field, only numbers are allowed. The printed cost field is optional and is not required for saving the details in the screen. Special characters are also not allowed. As you entered the currency of the printed cost, in the actual cost also, same details along with the currency and the actual cost by default appears. In case the printed cost and actual cost is different, you can enter the discount in the field discount. So by entering the discount in this field, automatically the actual cost gets reduced by the percentage discount. So discount is basically the percentage discount that you may have got on the printed cost, and based on which the actual cost gets auto calculated. In the discount, you can enter maximum 3 characters and only numbers can be entered. The 3 fields, printed cost, actual cost and discount, are optional. In the next field, bill number, you can enter the bill number of the book. Maximum 50 characters are allowed. Both text and number can be entered. Also, if you're entering the bill number, again the list box showing any existing bill number gets displayed, from which you can select the bill number. Both text and numbers are allowed, and this is an optional field for saving the details. Again, the special characters are allowed. The next field, bill date, you can enter the date of the bill. Only the date format is acceptable in this field with date, month and year. This is also an optional field. We also see the last accession number text is being shown, where we can see the last book accession number which has been entered in the system. This is for the convenience to know what was the last accession number, though the accession number of your book can be different or can be in the same series. In the next field, there are 4 boxes available to us. The first box is for active, which means that the media is active and available for issue. Only if a media is ticked as active in this field, it will be available for issue. In the next field, we mark the status of the media as issued, and only an issuable media can be issued. So make sure that if you want to start issuing the book that you are entering, both active and issuable media are ticked. For ticking or unticking, just click on the box and the right tick appears. The next box is media in demand. This is to indicate whether the media that you are entering is in demand by users. You can tick on the box and a right symbol appears. You can also mention whether the book is donated. If the media is not purchased and is received from any other source, it can be marked as donated by clicking on the box against this text and a tick appears. Media in demand and donated are optional fields, and active and issuable media are also optional fields, but they are required to make the book issuable. In the next field, remarks on status of media, you can enter any remarks if required. Maximum 100 characters can be entered in this field, and both text and numbers can be entered. This is an optional field and all the special characters are allowed. Now in the next section, DTC number, we can also assign a DTC number to the new book that we are entering. For this, we have the class, division and section that gets allocated to the new book. And for this, the DTC rules have to be defined first. So let us see how to assign the DTC number. Click on the button Select DTC number. It will open a new window which will show the class name, division name and section name if entered in the application in library. It will show us the DTC numbers details. To attach a DTC number, click on the row of the DTC number and the details of class, division and section appears in the respective fields. After you have entered the relevant details of the new purchase, click on button Save available on the toolbar, and you will see that since the number of copies were entered as 2, it has saved 2 books with a school accession number which are continuous to each other. Click on the button Post Media Details and this saves the books. So now you have 2 books being saved at the same time with the continuous school accession number. Click OK on the confirmation message. Click on the clear button to clear the screen. And now let us recheck the details that we have just entered have been saved. For doing that, click on the button View and a new window for media search will get opened. To search for the media, enter the school accession number that we have just entered and click on button Find. As you click, you will see that the media that we have just saved is searched and shown. So this confirms that the media that we have just entered is saved. Click on the Close button to close this window. Repeat these steps to enter the books or the media details of other media. Thank you for watching this video.